There's hardly any issue that divides Brits today as much as Brexit. So should we keep calm and carry on with Brexit, or should we hold a second vote? I'm Fletcher, and this is 2030 Plus. Some advocates of a second Brexit vote want to replay the 2016 referendum. They want, they say, to help Britain avoid an historic mistake. Others claim that a second vote should be about the public ratifying the government's final deal with Brussels. But even in that camp, there are many who I suspect hope for just one final outcome: the complete reversal of the 2016 vote. Many supporters of a second vote are calling it a people's vote. This, of course, raises the obvious question: what was the original vote, if not a people's vote? Some of the most prominent voices calling for a second referendum belong to politicians, including some former prime ministers. I think that they and many of the people who support them, despite their obvious sincerity, are making several mistakes. For one thing, they seem to assume that politics is life. They speak as if people's lives will succeed or fail in the long run according to whether or not Britain is in the EU. The fact is, though, that the greater part of life exists beyond politics. Britain is not leaving Europe, it's not jumping off the planet. Apparently, it wants to trade with Europe, but not be governed by Europe. Then there's an implied assumption among some second vote advocates that everyday people are either too stupid, too callow, or too ill-informed to be trusted with a one-time referendum on something as important as Brexit. Apparently, people need to be presented with as many referendums as it takes to get the right outcome. And that's exactly the type of political pomposity that led many people to vote Leave in the first place. They'd seen the EU arrogantly disregard the wishes of its citizens on key issues like the shape of its future constitution. Now Brits are seeing the same arrogance in their own politicians. The bottom line is that in 2016, the people of Britain, albeit not by a large margin, voted to leave the EU. They did not take part in an opinion poll. Most voted in good faith, believing that the result, whichever way it went, would be respected. Well, some people have changed their minds since the referendum. Yes, I dare say that's true on both sides of the debate. But shifts in public mood do not on their own warrant fresh elections or referendums, especially once a majority has spoken. If a new vote is required, what happens if the mood shifts again? When exactly is a decision on any issue considered to be the final decision? Some people will argue that in a generation or two from now, voters may very well want to re-enter the EU. That's certainly possible. But we can't, from this standpoint, definitively predict anything that far ahead. For all we know, Britain, after a period of adjustment and some short-term economic challenge, may go on to much better and bigger things outside the EU. We just don't know. But then we don't know how the EU will deal with some of its own problems, the political challenges it faces in Sweden or Italy, for example, or the ongoing economic problems in some of its southern countries. In all of this, one thing is certain: Britain won't get anywhere riding on the back of rank pessimism. No, hope is not a strategy, but neither is despair. At least hope puts us in the frame of mind to develop a strategy. I think we should calm down and carry on. We should pull together, keep our politicians accountable, pay close attention to the negotiations, and in the end, make Brexit work. I'm Fletcher. Thanks for watching.